The birds are singing, the squirrels are multiplying, and coffee's hot. We are back in the studio for episode 5, the final episode of the Winter Rose series. I did a bit of work since the last episode off camera, and I went ahead and connected the rest of the pedals. If you followed on Facebook, you might have seen I posted some shots of that. And just before this video, I decided to draw out the bottom bud portion with the leaves and connect it all. I've got that process done in a bunch of short clips, and I stitched it all together, so I'm just going to play that here now and do a little bit of talking, and then when we come back, we're going to get to the topic of the foliage that's going to come off of this stem, and potentially some thorns as well. No potentially about it. There's going to be some thorns. And there you have it. This bottom section was a little bit more tricky than I would have originally thought, but I was able to get it drawn out quite substantially. I mean, it was almost paper thin by the time I was done with it. But the fit turned out really nicely. And you can almost imagine that there's a rose hip hidden in there. And it complements the open style of this rose. But this is not done yet. If you remember our sketch out earlier, also as a point of reference, if you remember that spirograph looking thing that was going to eventually become this, I ended up depositing that directly in the garbage as I had planned too far ahead, and that chose wasn't conducive to the bottom of this, so I just chucked it and kind of drew the little star that you saw in the previous clip. Anyhow, off of that tangent. So here we are now. This thing is very close to being done. But if you remember in the last video, I kind of asked about foliage and thorns, and absolutely everyone wants to see foliage. Everyone wants to see thorns. So as far as I'm aware, anyways. So that's the next point in this. So if you look at this sketch, I plan on having 2 sets of leaves come off of this and just a smattering of thorns on this. The thorns are going to be the solder bonded drops. So I'm going to do a solder drop bonded and then pull it away and then file it down, and that should look really nice. So I'll show that process as well. I decided to forge out a couple of stems to attach to our main stem, like so. This is going to be an offshoot for leaves. So I have a section of the leaves also laid out, apart from this stem being forged out. This is going to be cut off right around there. I just nested 3 leaves on a small sheet of copper, the same as we've been using all along. And when they're cut out, they look something like this. So, not very much like a rose leaf. But the process that happens to these is the same as the majority of this. So we're going to be stretching this material, thinning it, and eventually, if you do that enough, you can end up with something that looks like this. From that same size, mind you. So I'll give you guys a good idea as to just how much larger the petal is now that it's been drawn out. And the final forming portion on those leaves is going to be this. So I did a little bit of detail work with a chisel. Oops. And then reformed it and buffed the high sides, so you really get a contrast. All 3 of these are going to be connected, soldered on in the same manner as the rest of the rose construction. And I'm going to solder those on there, and then I'm going to solder the small portion of this to the stock. And I want to get to another topic right now. So now that that's covered as to how those are going to be formed, we're going to be doing 2. The next thing is presentation for this. This rose is, even though it looks like a rose, it is very heavy. So this thing over here, that's weighing in at around 200 grams or 7 ounces. That's like, I don't know, 8 field mice or 150 jumbo paper clips. So it's quite top heavy. So apart from having a giant base to hold this up, I would need quite a bit more weight in the bottom to try to hold this thing up. So I've decided on a horizontal presentation, like so. And this section here is going to act like a kickstand on the bottom to keep it in place from rolling around. And then the top one is going to just be for pure decoration. So we're going to get tucked into that here, and I'm going to do some shots in between, and we'll be back in a second. Hey! Hey! What? Oh. And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen, the Winter Rose. This thing is one heck of a thing to hold on to. It's heavy, but apart from it being heavy, I don't think it has a bad angle. Super happy, really, really happy. So if you go back in time. It all started on this piece of paper, along with some copper pipe and a piece of wire. That turned into this. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. So I'll show some real up-close shots and stuff like that at the end of the video. But before that, I'd like to thank you all for coming along on this journey with me. Through the Winter Rose. It's been a learning process for me through editing and the whole process of digital media, and thank you for sticking with me. It's been a challenge, but it's also rewarding. Let's just put it that way. So learning all kinds of new skills, and to kind of touch on skills, I wasn't born with these skills, the skills to be able to create something like this. And I don't think anyone is. So I had a lot of teachers over the years, but certainly in regards to this, my grandfather and my father are two big inspirations in my life. Two very hands-on individuals that, they didn't call people to fix stuff for them. They just fixed it themselves. My grandfather has passed away, but my father is still alive. And he's going to be the recipient of this. And I have to do it on video so that he can't say no. But it is to honor... his input in my life, which is of inestimable value. So I am going to be building more of these kinds of things, and hopefully you guys really enjoyed it and you want to continue on this journey with me. I will be doing things that I'll be having up for sale, and I'll be doing commissions and so on and so forth. So if you guys stuck it out this long and you enjoyed the series, I'm not one to ask for likes or subscribers or anything like that, but certainly if you want to see more of this, give a subscriber a follow, and I guarantee it's going to be cool. Alright guys, thank you very much, and we're going to go put this thing where it belongs.